Now, I looked up the definition of courage in Webster. Dictionary, I wanted to compare. And Webster's definition, Webster defines courage as the quality of the mind that enables a person to face difficulty and danger without fear. Who sees a problem with that? I did. I saw difficulty, the same as the revealing word. I saw danger, the same as the revealing word. But with due respect to Webster, I can tell you just from my own life, and every time my courage has propelled me through a situation, I was experiencing fear. I can tell you that courage works best when we do experience fear. And so when Webster says it enables a person to face difficulty and danger without fear, I think that's incorrect. It enables a person to face difficulty and danger in spite of fear. Okay? In spite of a fantasy experienced as real, we choose to overcome the situation, whatever it may be. So I found a better definition from Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela says, I've learned that courage is not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. The brave man, the brave woman is not one who does not feel afraid, but one who does feel afraid and conquers the very fear that's trying to hold them back. And so today, as I speak about courage, I want us to realize that as we experience life, life happens. Life happens to all of us. And as we experience this gift called life, our power grows or our power opposes potential growth. But either way, it's an expression and a decision of power in our life. And that is why I believe way back in the Psalms, David sang to the people and he said, be strong and let your heart take courage. Be strong and let your heart take courage. Courage is a heart thing. It never weighs and balances. It does not really work in the realm of logic. And that is why I believe Chris Gardner says on page 126 of his book that struggle is in our genes. We are here on this earth to choose to journey from one place to a better one. The Bible doesn't have to tell us that because it shows us that it's all been done before by others we can follow and will be done again by those who follow us. Struggle was not invented just for me or you or for any of us. We either go forward in the struggle or we give in to the fear. That's absolutely the truth. The decision many times is unconscious, and then sometime later, we wake up and we realize either we've overcome or we've given in to the fear. I remember personally when I was called to leave behind the security and the richness of a law practice. The income and the peace of mind that came from, practice of law. And I remember, that initial sort of few weeks, months that turned into years, I kept telling myself, this is mad. Literally, this is crazy. I remember brushing my teeth for weeks saying, this is nuts. No, I'm not going to be a minister. I was like looking at myself spitting toothpaste all over the mirror, toothpaste, day in and day out. But the stronger I resisted the dream, the more powerful the dream became present in my life. See, when we're called to change, and every one of us is called to change all the time. And when we're called, and it's a really big change, we can label it as a crisis, but it can never be quieted inside of us when it's a call from Spirit. When it's the truth of who we are, it doesn't matter who says what. It doesn't matter what shows up. It doesn't matter how many pros and cons and logical excuses we come up with to say, no, 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 the universe has another shovelful of dreams and says yes, 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 and often dumps it right on our head. See, inside is where these conversations occur. Inside is where the dream and our small human self often fight it out. Am I right? Am I right? Inside, where Chris says we either go forward in the struggle or we give in to the fear. I believe that is why Dr. King says, progress never rolls in on the wheels of inevitability. Success in our life never rolls in on the wheels of inevitability. Degrees and gifts and relationships. You ever had a relationship just roll in on the wheels of inevitability without any work? Have you? Without any work? If any of you are in a relationship and it involves no work, do me a favor, in the words of Rev.Frank, just levitate up from your seat, float to the front, and tell the rest of us how you do it, okay? Change and greatness and visions and dreams and all the glory that every one of you is in this room is not going to roll in by chance. Progress in each one of us is going to come through the continual, tireless efforts that we are willing to co-create our life with God. Dr. King says, be co-workers with God. And to me, what this means is we constantly talk ourselves into courageous action. We have to be our own cheerleader on the Spirit's side. We have to take courageous action at every crossroad and detour that shows up in our life. And as we do this over and over and over, we overcome the past that generally could have held us back. Now looking back in my own history, let me tell you, ministry was a done deal. Ministry was a done deal for me as soon as I moved through all the fear and trepidation. As soon as I moved through all the doubts and insecurities. I could have done this when I was 21, but God needed 20 years to work inside of me to heal all the excuses I believe that I couldn't do, the gift that Spirit wrote into my very DNA. And you all have that gift. You know what it is. I talked about it last week. You know what you are called to do. And so, the wrestling is never about the calling. I really love to serve. I really love my job. Singers, they love their job. Whatever we do, if we can just release all the must-dos and all the requirements we put on ourselves that are not from Spirit, we will be attracted to our passion. And we will move through challenges as if they were no thing, because truthfully they are no thing until we give them a label. And this label comes from an inner conflict, an inner voice, inner fears. And the way to rise above that, the way to levitate above that, is to see ourselves first in our mind as courageous. We call that a prayer. Every time you write a prayer, I invited you to write down, I am ready to move through this. What is coming after that? Words that fear has been holding you back for a day, a month, a year, a lifetime. Yet Spirit has given you infinite courage.